Yes, hi there, and welcome to this training episode of the Accelerated Mentorship Program. I'm Bahati Hilda Sabiti, and I'd love to warmly welcome you. And for those of you that have gone through the different series of assignments and different series of lectures, and for those of you that are already handing in, kudos, we have come this far, and I believe that we are going very, very far. Remember, when I began this, I said there's a place for everyone. There's a place for coaching, there's a place for mentoring, there's a place for consultancy, there's a place for counseling, there's a place for speakership, there are a lot of things, endless things that we can actually do. We have shared the soft skills, we have shared finding your niche, we have shared finding your passion and your purpose, branding, personal branding, and we have gone to the creativity of doing it, actually doing it. And it's amazing. What an amazing journey that we have been at. And I believe that we still have a lot more in stock. Okay. So, I'm the founder of the Coach Foundation together with my husband, Tim Sabiti, and we do school outreaches, we do high school tours and campus tours, we do conferences and events, we write books, and we've just committed ourselves and the passion and desire to teach and to establish legacies and impact lives. That is what we live for. That is what I live for. And that is my mantra every time I wake up. I'm like, I am waking up to inspire, to motivate, to lead, and to equip, because this generation, we need it more than ever. Okay, so today I want us to talk about speaking with confidence. You realize when we talked about when I asked a question concerning the top things that you want to work on, that you want to deal with, most of us came up with confidence. And since we're talking about speaking, then speaking with confidence would really fit in, so that we can all know exactly what we have to do. Remember, when you speak, we speak at different platforms. And right now I am speaking. I mean, I've spoken to, I don't know, hundreds of virtual events this year. And I've been on stages, platforms, I've been in schools, I've been in campuses, I've been on TV, I've been on radio. That is all speaking. The most intimidating, definitely, all the kinds of speaking are intimidating, but the most intimidating is having an audience, and you are going to talk to them about a certain topic. Remember, I said we have an idea, and when we get an idea, we go and speak and plant that idea in people's brains or in people's minds, so they can see how we see, or they can perceive what we perceive, because different people can speak about the same topic, but maybe they're not going to deliver the same, or they're not going to say exactly the same. And the different perceptions are going to be created, and ideas and philosophies, and how people are going to live their lives thereafter. Okay, so we really have to be very careful as speakers, because sometimes people take it, actually most times people take it as gospel truth, but sometimes people can see right through you, and they just know she's not confident, or he's not confident, he's fumbling around, he's fidgeting, or he's sweaty, or he's forgotten a line, or he's trying to remember something he planned to say but he can't quite remember it. And so there's so many things that can happen. Have you ever been in an audience and you fear for the speaker? You're like, oh god, I wish they just don't mess up. I know that most of us have been there. But I want us to get into an arena where you are invited to speak, and you come with confidence, not because you are really, really, really 100% confident, but because you know some of the skills or the things that we are going to share tonight. And one of them being embrace the fear, embrace and allow it. Because if you didn't have the fear, you would not have the fuel to actually work harder to make sure that you show up anyway. I said courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the presence of fear, but you go ahead and do what it takes or what you have to do anyway. So you don't just back out. You don't just quit. You don't just throw in the towel. You don't just walk away. No, that's not how it's done. You don't just procrastinate and say, I will do it when I'm ready. You will never be ready. You'll just be berating yourself. But when you allow it, when you sit down and say, okay, this is fear, and I can sense this is fear. What is this fear pointing at? Because most of the times the fear will be pointing at something, and then you have to rectify it. So I'm not just saying, oh, just give up and you let fear consume you and then just do nothing about it. No. Accept it, acknowledge it, embrace it, allow it, and know that this is it. This is fear. And I'm so glad that we're taking this journey because, 10 years ago, if someone sat me down and told me exactly what I'm going to meet on my way, I think I would have 10x'd what I am doing. It would have been times 10, or it would have been times, and no regrets. I am glad I went through the mud. I went through, I was a pathfinder. I tried to push the bushes away, to dig a foundation, to do everything on my own because I kept bumping into these things and bumping into these things. Now, having no information today is not an excuse because there is information all around us. Okay, and so you can't say, "Oh, I didn't know about that." Now you know. Embrace the fear, allow it, but do something about it. And this is what you're going to do. Number 2, you clarify. You sit, you clarify and challenge that fear. Okay? Now, to clarify is to find out, where is the fear coming from? There are some of us who still believe like you used to be in high school. You're like, I'm a last minute person. Now, last minute person does not work when you are speaking and the lives of people are in your hands. They have come, they have a hunger. They have paid for an event. They have paid for that virtual event. They have come to attend that conference. Maybe they've come from afar, they've driven long distances, or they've flown in. And what they want is something tangible to go with at the end of the day, the experience. Okay? Now, when you clarify and say, okay, my fear is because I have prepared like 3 themes or 5 themes, but I have not narrowed down to nail that this is the exact one that I want to talk about. So I am not certain, and we will talk about certainty as we go on, but I am not so sure. Oh, did I read enough? Do I have enough information? Or did I get the right information from the person that invited me to speak? Or did I read the right information? Now, when you challenge the fear, then you are getting strong and you are getting confident. Why? Because then you are going to address exactly what you need to address. Because the things that we fear is really about fear of judgment, is really about people not listening to you, people not paying attention to you. But remember, that is none of your business. You came, and I told us we come to do the work and to help the people, to speak into their lives. We do it for them. We do not do it for us. So the things that we fear are really about the externals and the internals. We fear judgment. We fear that people are not going to like what we're going to say. We fear that we're going to forget a particular example that we planned to speak. We fear that maybe that story that we planned to talk about, we're going to talk about it half, and maybe we're not going to talk about it as passionately as we prepared. So what does that tell you? You're going to go back home and you're going to decide and sit down and you're going to rehearse. You're going to speak these jokes to yourself. Oh, your fear you will tell a bad joke. And then you say, you know what? I'm going to tell this joke to myself. I'm going to tell it to my siblings. I'm going to tell it to my parents or to my friends and see how they react. So the more you do it, the more you actually get confident. So that means you are clarifying where the source of the fear is. Do you feel smaller than the people that you're going to talk to? I've been in that place where I feel, the people that I'm going to talk to are high profile people, and maybe I look like an insect or I look like a locust somewhere, and even a locust is big. I look like a grasshopper, literally. And so I'm like, okay, so what are these people actually going to listen? They're older than me. Their status, and everything just signals to one thing. I'm a totally different class from who they are, but I'm the one that was invited to speak. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to put right my shoulders I'm going to stand tall. I will speak. And whether they listen or they don't listen, for as long as I'm prepared, for as long as I'm sure about what I'm talking about, for as long as so you see the pep talk that you keep having within your mind over and over again, there's a way it lifts your spirit. Why? You got the clarity and now you are challenging whatever it is, the fear. You are challenging it. Okay, so let's go to number 3. Don't be just a speaker. Don't just appear to blabber and speak and endlessly and at a higher note, maybe hyped out, speed, and all those things. No. No, 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 no. That's not what we are here to do. We are here to teach. Okay? We are here to serve. To teach, to serve, and to connect to the people. Now, you realize I've done so many events, and there's a time when I was just beginning when you would, be given a topic to speak or to say something about, and then you will dive into the research, you would read, you will do. But remember, you're not owning out that, you're not owning up the content. But because you're beginning, there's so many people that are they're not even going to see that maybe you're not either ready enough or you're not. You get it. Some people just go with the flow. But again, I knew that there was something that was really lacking. And this was the authenticity. That is going to be our next point. But I want to just talk about it a little bit now when we talk about teaching and connecting and serving the people. When you speak from a perspective of teaching and serving, you realize you don't have to speak so much English. You don't have to speak heavy vocabulary. You don't have to sound like so and so. You just don't have to. You just have to be yourself. Remember, I even asked and put up a question. What are your ideal clients facing? What are their actual problems? Okay, so that means you have to diagnose. When you are invited to speak or you've created your own event, we talked about the models of public speaking. You've created your own event, or you're being paid to speak, or you're speaking to be paid. I hope that you remember all those things. And so when you slow down, when you calm yourself down, when you decide to teach, to pass on an idea, and to serve. I am here to give you what you need. I am not here to give you my head knowledge. I'm not here to give you what I read. I'm not here to give you what I know. I am here to give you what concerns you. And I'm here to connect with you. I'm here to have a dialogue. I'm here to hear from you. It makes a lot of sense. Let me tell you, if you are in such a a mind frame or a mindset, you can speak for 5 hours and you will never notice that you're actually speaking. Okay? So next, I want us to be able, and when you're connecting, before I even go to the next one, I want you to consider talking to one person. One person. I've been to crowds where you literally see, I told you about a scenario where I went to a place, I was invited to speak, and only to get there, and it was a party, a really party, like party after party, okay? And there was booze, there was, people, dressing, skimpy clothes, and just everyone having fun, like more than 1,000, not even youths, but they were just mixed up, old, young, what. And so I get there and I'm like, okay, so what they gave me to talk about is actually too serious. But I'm going to try and break it down. I'm going to try and use a story. I'm going to try and use jokes. I'm going to try and be funny. I'm just putting myself in that mind frame and mindset. And I remember when I started speaking, while everyone was busy, there was music booming somewhere, and these ones were speaking on top of their voices. I noticed there was one lady that was paying attention. I decided to speak to that lady. I looked at her. And when I looked at her, when I looked around the room, there was another one who was paying attention. And there was another one who was paying attention. And I was like, I'm going to talk to these people that are paying attention. And soon before I even knew it, the whole place was coming out. People were leaving their tables, they were leaving, and they were just coming to pay attention and hear what I was talking about. And here I was serving them and asking them what they were going through, what was perturbing them. What was supposed to be a speaking engagement ended up being more like, sessions, but having public sessions, where I can ask someone a question and they'll tell me, I never looked at it like that. I didn't know that, that also existed. And people were getting aha moments. People were asking questions. People that were even way older than me. And then I was like, how did I get their attention? I connected with one person, and I connected with another, and I connected with another. Before I knew it, the whole room was actually facing my side. They were putting up hands. I remember they even had to extend my speaking time. I had to speak for 1.5 hours because they had requested, please speak for 1 hour and then do questions and answers. And I was like, it's okay. I'd given them my red card. They had actually wired the money to my account. And here I am. I'm like, you know what, guys, I have to end the night here. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we're just started. We're just warming up, but this is it. And then the organizer comes and whispers in my ears and is like, you know what, these people seem so hooked into this talk. Can you give us 1 more hour? And I was like, okay, but you know what an hour means. I was like, no, that is sorted. And so I give them an hour. As I'm about to close, they come to me, and remember, I'm sweating, and I'm getting a handkerchief. Those days we didn't have corona, so I'm just, but I'm serving, I am teaching, I am connecting with people, I'm high-fiving with people, I'm hugging people, we are talking, and I'm just down to earth. I'm just like a bade. Actually, I became their bade. And nobody gano, yogera chino gamba agwenedde bibyo sijja biwuliriza omulala abuuze. And everyone was like, who is this woman? Why? I connected to everyone that was in that room. I served and I taught. Okay? And I want us to talk about being authentic. Be you. Do not be anyone else. When we listen to people, for example, this is a mentorship program, and I love, when you are mentoring people, there's always a temptation of the people that you mentor to actually sound like you. I don't know whether you have seen it happen. It's like people that go to certain either churches and they have a certain pastor that they admire. When they sit under that ministry, they tend to get, it's like an anointing that flows. They start speaking like them. They start, why? Because it flows from the leadership. So if someone is mentoring and you're taking so much time with them and you're listening from them, and sometimes you will find yourself actually speaking like them. So if you're choosing a mentor, choose a mentor that you would want to have part of who they are into you. That does not mean that you're not going to be authentic. You are going to create your own path. You are going to have your own information. You have your own niche. You have your own passion, maybe so different from who your mentor is. But again, you will be authentic and stand for what you want to teach, to connect, and to serve your people. So you don't have to be like so-and-so. You don't have to be like so-and-so. So-and-so does this, so I should also do it. So-and-so did this, so I should also do it. That is not how this works. This is about digging deep. Who are you? On the deepest level, who are you? What can you give? What value do you bring to the table? That is all the people want. They don't want your good clothes. They don't want, yes, in personal branding. Some of you kept telling me, oh, but you always look good. Oh, but this is part of personal branding, my dears. Part of personal branding. Because when you talk to people, when you go into the spotlight, definitely someone will tell you, when I grow up, I want to be like you. Even the people that are already grown up, I want to be like you. How do you do it? What can I do? But a person is not going to come to you to tell you that when, number one, they feel you're not confident, your self-esteem is bruised, and you're just not taking care of yourself. Because part of self-care, of self-love, is really keeping your own promises and saying, you know what, this is what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to boost my confidence, my self-esteem. I'm going to dress well. I'm going to smell nice. I am going to look good. Okay? With or without makeup. With my kind of hair and my kind of choices. I'm not going to do what other people are doing. I'm going to do me. Okay? So do you and be authentic in the process. Okay? And When I was talking about being as and not being a speaker, but being able to serve and teach, this also leads me to the next point, which is be funny, but not in the sense of, there's bad fun, there's being funny, but in a bad way. Like, that's just not funny. You give a joke and no one can laugh about that joke. Remember, we're going to have public speaking trials, and you should prepare for that. Okay, so these public speaking trials, you are going to speak, you're going to present about, and this is the assignment. Whenever I have a class with you, I have to give you an assignment. So this is the assignment. You choose one topic and you talk about that topic for 25 minutes. Okay, and you are going to record yourself, and we are going to upload it on the group so that everyone can be able to, you know, see what you do and your kind of personal branding. What, as in, ebitono to know, as in, how well kept are you? And is that the you that you would want us to see? Is that the you that you would want us to have a memory of? Okay. That is what I would love from you. So be full of fun. Don't just be funny. Be full of fun. Let people have fun when they are talking to you. Sometimes I don't know where my fun comes from. I've always said this, I'm an introvert, a typical introvert, that I don't have that many friends. I don't have, apart from work, and maybe the partnerships and all that. Those I call my friends. But these inner friends, let's hang out, let's do this. No, 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 no. I don't have those. So sometimes I'm surprised at myself, amazed that actually I can make fun, I can joke, I can be full of fun until I laugh at myself and tears come, and then I'm only trying to steady myself and, just put the microphone away and just lean on either the podium and laugh, and then I'm like, guys, I am back. Let's start from where we stopped. But sometimes people will not stop laughing, and so laughter is contagious. As they burst out to laugh, you're also laughing, and then after that, I'm like, you know what? I have to steady myself, and then I have to go back, because then I have to take them back to real business. So be full of fun. Let people enjoy the time that you are with them as a speaker. Remember, speaking applies to business, it applies to coaches, it applies to mentors, it applies to anyone that is a leader. You're going to be a public speaker. You're going to speak at some point. But if you speak and you're all gloomy and you're all giving us gloomy vibes and serious vibes, some of us life is too serious as it is. We don't need to complicate it even more. We need to just lessen people's stress and give them a very nice, hard topic, but with a silver lining of fun and joy and being engaged. Okay, and that's a beautiful experience that you'll be giving them. Something else that we've talked about so many times, that is certainty. Being certain about where you are taking your crowd, that I'm taking them from point A to point B. Okay, that means that you are certain of the content that you're going to give them. That means that you are certain of the stories that you're going to give them and the impact that they are going to do in their lives. And we talked about the chemicals that are released. We talked about the oxytocin. We talked about, and now all those chemicals, you see that you can make your own cocktail, so that people know that when she comes, that one, she's so funny, and we're just going to have fun listening to that person. So you are certain about what exactly comes after what. And sometimes it's not about the order. Sometimes it's about how you bring them out. Okay, that shows certainty. Sometimes when you fumble with words and then you're trying to remember a certain statement, and then you're just not so sure what comes next, and then you start with the last things and then bring the first things last, and then people can figure those things out. So be very, very certain. And even when you get lost on the way, because that's going to happen so many times, maybe you're going to skip a point, maybe you're going to have you I know most of you have been to high school, where we used to write the summaries. I don't know whether I used to do summaries. I used to do a lot of summaries. So when I would write the summaries, and you know, there's a way the mind just looks at the whole summary the way it is, and sometimes, you know, point after point, point after point. Now the problem is when you forget number 5, that means you're going to forget the everything that is under number 5. And it wasn't just about cramming, but it was like your mind getting attuned to what you have summarized and how you have prepared it. Just like your eyes will keep going to something and you'll be like, someone has moved this cup, or someone has. It's not that you crammed where it was, but you're used to seeing it there. You've been reading this book for the past 1 month, and that answer has been right there in the middle, number 5. And now you've forgotten it. You're forgetting all the rest of the answers that are beneath it. Okay, so there's so many things that we really, really, really have to do, but certainty beats all. Okay, and we've talked about this before. And then learning the skills, the speaking skills. Now, those I'm not going to mention all of them. I'll just mention one, the body language. Now, the body language has to be in alignment, congruent to the message that you are giving. Have you ever seen, for example, if I do the opposite, I wouldn't know how to do it, but if I did the opposite of what I am saying, and my hands are doing, oh, you know, when we were going down, and then I put my hand down, and you know, the other man was slapping the person, and then I'm putting hugging hands, and I'm just doing the opposite. So you realize, do you know what? People are going to stop listening to what you are talking about, and they are going to look at the opposite that you're doing, the actions that you're doing. So that means if you've seen a point that needs emphasis, make sure that you emphasize. Make sure that your voice emphasizes. Make sure it becomes deep. Make sure sometimes you just slow the pace. Sometimes you can create a suspense. Sometimes you can actually pause and not speak, and then you break the silence afterwards. Now, you are congruent. You are in alignment with the message that you are delivering. So speaking skills are very, very, very paramount. How do you introduce yourself? How do you end a speech? Okay, and if you're supposed to be either selling something or where do you bring that in? Okay, so be very, very, very careful when it comes to the speaking skills and how your body acts. Sometimes when you are nervous, you will act in ways that you will never know. Sometimes you can choose to shake your legs. Sometimes you can choose to pocket. Sometimes you can choose to just put your hands like this, and sometimes you can choose to just keep rubbing your shoulder. You know, that all shows nervousness. Sometimes you can just choose to do this. Have you seen people who do this? And sometimes you can just say, you know, like you're remembering something that is not, and oh, you're scratching your head. We do a lot of things when we are nervous. So make sure that you actually know what you do when you're nervous, so that when you find yourself tapping the leg, you will know that actually there's something off. I just need to steady myself and take back my reins and do what I really, really, really have to do. Okay. And now, about when we go from certainty, we have to then know the outcome of our speech, so we can be able to work backwards. Okay? Where are you taking these people? Are you taking them to a place where they must buy something? Are you leading them? Are you asking for a vote? Politicians, leaders, are you asking for a vote, and at the end of the speech you want them to be able to vote in your favor? What exactly is your end point? Where are you taking them? Because every one of us that is teaching and serving and connecting people with people, we are actually taking them somewhere. We are taking them from point A to point B. We want them to know certain things. We want them to acknowledge certain things. We want them to, you realize. So what we have to do is know your end, that I want these people to be great speakers. So how can we work backwards? Just like I'm talking to you, how can we work backwards? If I'm coaching coaches, Where do I want them to go? I want them to go from making no money to making money. I want them to go from a place where they just didn't know anything about branding to full personal branding, where someone cannot miss their messages, where someone can speak with confidence, where there's someone. So how can we do that? Okay? And then there you have your outline of what exactly you are supposed to do. Okay? And then there's something I used to do with the players. In my high performance coach, I have coached football teams. Yes, football teams, where I go with them to their camps and I have like a full week, because this is a mindset. It's not about the skill. On the yes, the skill is good. Yes, they will have a coach to coach them on the pitch, on the field. But again, I would first take them to class. Talk about their aspirations. Talk about what it is they want. Talk about which teams they want to go to play for. Talk about which countries they want to go. What are their vision? What is their passion? What do they want? What are their relationships like with the people at home? What kind of jobs would they rather do? Do they plan to retire? Or what does the soccer arena dictate that when does it dictate that they retire? So when you have a perspective of all that, then you're like, you know what, I have very limited time. That means if I'm supposed to sprint, if I'm supposed to assist, if I am supposed to be a winger, if I'm supposed to be a midfielder, then I should be the greatest midfielder. If I'm supposed to be a goalkeeper, no one should ever say that so and so is not good. Okay? And so these people would push themselves. I remember there's a joke I used to make about them, to usually tell them KCCA, Villa, that is Proline, and there's so many teams that I worked with, and I would tell them mugenda kumaliriza mukuba obugatto nga muli ku Kampala Road mugamba satu nyabo jangu, and what is that what you want? And most of them would feel so bad about that. They would even tell their fellow players, they would tell them, you know what, mana ekyokuba obugatto tekijja kusoboka. I will not bang those shoes selling them on the street. I am going to invest. I am going to work hard. Whatever the coach is going to tell me, I am going to even put in extra. So I would even find these boys on the pitch without a coach. Like I'm supposed to meet them at 10 and they go at around 5 in the morning. And you ask them, they're like, you know what, after the session we had yesterday, I know there's a lot of work for me to do. I have to do something. Now, where I bring this in is creating your confidence anchor. Now, the confidence anchor, most of these, I will call them boys, because when you're in a group of guys, you know, they're like students. They're like, even when they're mature guys. And so I remember one time we went to, it was Arua. There was a match between Ondu Paraka and Villa. And I went in Villa's camp because I was their coach, their mentor coach. And so in Ondu Paraka, I think something happened that one of the players was given either water with juju, and so they could the goalkeeper actually the first one, and he couldn't see anything. You know, the ball would come and he wouldn't see anything. He would just scatter, run away instead of just holding it. So when I sat with them afterwards and we talked about witchcraft, and they told me, you know what, the witchcraft is so much in this industry. Some of them even brought out things that they were holding on, you know. They, as someone told me, these things cannot work without extra energy. So I went and someone gave me this stick to always use in my mouth. Now, they had created their own confidence anchors. Now, I decided to divert their minds. And actually, one thing I knew is they needed something tangible to actually hold on, because one of them actually whispered to me and told me, you know what? I will exchange my stick that I was given by a witch doctor if you can give me your necklace. The wisdom that you have, I would love my daughter, my wife, I would love my future to be as bright as you have explained to us and tell us. And I would want to look at your necklace for the rest of my life and know that I have a reason to wake up every day and work hard. And before I knew it, everyone was asking for a necklace. And before I knew it, definitely I did it out of courtesy when I was saying bye to them when the season was over. I gave them I went and bought a very good guy kind of, what are they called? Bling. But it was not the bling bling that really shines. It was the kind that you can put on quietly and it's okay. And I cannot tell you how those guys were kneeling down and literally thanking me and saying, you know what? Uh, I mean, this is going to, do a lot of good in our lives. So there are so many things that we put our confidence in. But you, as speaker, you're supposed to have a confidence anchor. Whether it's a moment in your life that you were so confident, whether it's words that your mother told you. For example, my mother's words ring in my mind all the time. She has always told me, you can never fail. No child of mine fails. Okay? And wherever I feel there's a fear or I would speak to myself, no, 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 not my mother's child, not me. Okay? And I'm doing the same even with my children. I want to be able to anchor them in this confidence. There's so many things that I could refer to that she has told me. So when it comes to confidence anchoring, it could be a word that your mentor told you and told you that, you know what, you're unbeatable. I have seen good people, but you are really good. So when you remember it in that moment and you're like, if my mentor could say this and she was genuine, no, this is not going to fail. This is actually going to work out. So what would be the worst scenario? Or the worst case scenario? What would be the worst result? Speaking is speaking. You're going to speak and it's going to be over. Okay? So once that fear comes, make sure that you actually deal with it. And the last bit of it is practice, practice, practice. Okay? Speak in front of a mirror. Speak in front of 5 people. Speak in front of 10 people, as in speak every chance that you can get. You have a phone, record yourself as many times as you can. Record as you erase, but speak and speak, give examples, use the power of the stories that we talked about. And let me tell you, you're going to impact lives. And if you're going to impact lives, you're not going to do it while in your bed or in a cave. You are going to do it on radio, on TV. You're going to do it on YouTube. You're going to do it at speaking engagements, on virtual events. You are going to do it at a certain platform. And you are going to speak. Now, this is not just about the words. It's the whole package. The things that we have talked about. Being certain, accepting the fear and embracing it, but clarifying, seeking clarity and challenging those fears, knowing the outcome, where you're taking the people and then trying to work backwards, not just being a speaker, but being able to teach, to serve and connect to people, okay? Being so sure about the content that you're giving to the people, practicing and practicing and practicing, and knowing where your anchor, your confidence anchor lies. If you know that your confidence anchor is in God, the one that says that I knew you before you were born, and I've prepared a good future for you. That future is not a timid future. It's not a fearful future. It's a future to prosper you. Whatever it is, where your confidence is, let your confidence be anchored and always remember that moment and speak with a lot of confidence. I love you, bless you, and see you in the next video.